Okay, welcome to Real Estate Investor Talk, where we kick off 2024 with renewed energy and high expectations. And today's focus revolves around the economic landscape and the pivotal role of property ownership in driving both title ownership and wealth creation. And we're witnessing African innovation shaping the real estate sector. And to delve deeper into this, we are honored to have Lindiwe Kwele. She's the CEO of the Gauteng Partnership Fund, a capital raising and implementation agency of the Gauteng Department of Human Settlements. Thank you for joining us on the show, Lindiwe. Welcome.
Thank you, Neil, and compliments of the new year. It's such a pleasure to be here.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. And I think we all look forward to it with absolute positivity. Great.
Absolutely.
So Lindiwe, tell us a little bit about your tenure at GPF and the significant role you play in the property sector.
I've been at the GPF since the 5th of January 2022. So this will be my 2 years. Actually, it's already 2 years. I'm privileged to lead a very dynamic team and with the mandate of really contributing to the integrated human settlement within the Gauteng city region. And what is exciting about working for the GPF is that we work in a unique province that has 3 metros, something that is unique in the South African context, and working in the economic powerhouse. But at the same time, we are also mindful of some of the challenges that comes with this responsibility, appreciating that Gauteng, as an economic powerhouse for the country, in landmass, it is quite small, but the population is growing. And then the demand for housing in Gauteng is not getting any better. So we have to step up, adapt or die. But at the same time, we also appreciate that there's a fiscal constraint. You know, we appreciate the inflation and the macroeconomic conditions upon which we are operating under and the impact that has in terms of our mandate as a lending institution, because we are a development finance institution. At the same time, a project manager on behalf of our shareholder, which is the Gauteng Department of Human Settlement. So the mandate and the work and the impact that we are supposed to make in terms of job creation, in terms of skills transfer, but instead in terms of human dignity, because you know the fulfillment when you are handing over those title deeds, you know, to those mega projects, people who have been waiting since the dawn of democracy for 30 years, getting that and seeing that we've been instrumental in contributing to that is a heartwarming feeling. So yeah, it's quite exciting. But moreover, also in our capital raising effort, we work with private sector, you know, just getting private sector, having confidence in the work that we do, and they are able to also inject some capital into our projects because we don't have enough to lend as many project pipelines. So without them, we can't achieve our mandate. So that has been really one of the instrumental, exciting fulfillment for me as the leader of the Gauteng Partnership Fund.
Well, that's wonderful. It seems that you really geared up for that, and now you're in the field of property from the rest of your career. What actually drew you into the field of property development, and how's your journey at GPF sort of unfolded there?
I've always been operating within the economic development realm. I've always been an economic development practitioner, but really my interest and focus on property development and management, that bug beat me when I was a deputy city manager in the city of Tshwane. I was responsible for strategy development and implementation. So one of my portfolio was city planning and development. And you understand that no development can happen in any city without the approval of city planning. And I had to really appreciate the role of city planning in really advancing economic development, in enabling and supporting property developers for the broader good of the city in terms of economic development, but then also in terms of spatial transformation. It therefore also, as a leader, helped me to really ensure that my team was agile enough and they were alive to the possibilities and the pressures that comes with developers, because if there are delays in terms of their zoning application, there will be cost overruns, there will be other, external factors that may affect and actually jeopardize the development. Furthermore, I was also responsible for the catalytic initiatives within the city. I was the lead. It fell within my portfolio as the deputy city manager. So I needed to also lead the government boulevard. As you know, that's one of the sad story of South African cities. The central business district, inner city, they're degenerating. And yet the state can use state levers to transform inner space in terms of livability. And what is nice about central business district is that there's adequate infrastructure. It really is a matter of maintenance and upgrade infrastructure in order to create livability where people can live, work, and play. So I was really, really drawn into urban design, urban management. And then I had to use the state levers. As I said, I led the process of starting the government boulevard. The intention, appreciating that the capital city, most of the government headquarters are within the capital city. But what needed to happen was to really create a cluster of government buildings so that if you are true to the notion of Batupile, you want to go to Home Affairs or education and everything must be within a certain cluster, because it must put people first, it must be customer-centric in its approach, and your urban design must be able to respond to that. So I was driving that process. We started with State SA by where Freedom Park is. We were gonna go through all where Kruger Park is and putting all the government buildings along that route. And also pedestrianize, the Paul Kruger leading up to the Pretoria station, and really create walkways and all these exciting things. And the concept, I borrowed that from the Washington, D.C., Pennsylvania Lane, where, all the government agencies are there. And I felt that we really need to start thinking out of the box. We need to use property as a lever, as a catalyst for spatial transformation. And we were also identifying other government-owned buildings where we could actually create mixed income development for students, for young professionals, and the broader community, so where people can actually walk, to areas of economic opportunities. Because I think you'll agree with me, Neil, that there was a research that was done, I think, by World Bank working with the National Treasury through the City Support Program, where they realized that people spend 60% of their income accessing economic opportunities, getting into their public transport, spending time and money. And we believe that we need to really deal with issues of integration, in order to transform space and create livability where people can work, live, and play. Yeah.
Absolutely. So, I mean, what other milestones or goals have you marked in your leadership at GPF? I mean, what are your strategic priorities for the organization in the coming years?
The first one is really instilling a sense of pride, a sense of confidence, and also continuity, and also just ensuring that we stabilize, because you can't just run before you walk. So mine was to really ensure that you attract the best of the best in the industry to actually do the work. And also just resuscitating, fortunately for me, because all my life, for the past 24 years, I've been in the public service space, both within SOEs or in municipalities. So I'm more of a city development practitioner as well. So I had to leverage off my networks that I've built over the years to really make our job much easier, because the work that we do relies on getting cities to be agile, So if city planning in city of Joburg or Tshwane or Ekurhuleni are delaying approvals for our developers, GPF suffers, because GPF can't then get their money back on time. So just playing that role and also establishing an IGR, because in the past we didn't have an intergovernmental relations practitioner within the GPF, whose responsibility is solely to really ensure that there's agility, things are moving at speed in order to make sure that we work hand in glove with our developers. So really just building the house on a solid foundation, because some of the work you'll begin to appreciate it in 5 years' time. But I believe when you are building an institution, you have to have all the key pillars, you know, in order to have a well-oiled machinery. So for me, the first year was really around building those machinery, putting a very compelling corporate strategy that can stand the test of time, appreciating the environment in which we're operating under. This year, we're going to elections. We've seen how coalition government, how things are not working at local government. And we have to be resilient and build systems and processes and governance framework that will withstand all the shocks, be it economic, be it political shocks. And that's what one has been able to do. We were able to also resuscitate partnerships. You know, Future Growth has been, as a private sector, using investment from Old Mutual. They've recommitted themselves to give us a new facility. And that could only be done because they had confidence in the leadership. You know, PIC, we are at an advanced stage. We've got the term sheets for the resuscitation of our facility. DBSA, we are advanced. We've signed with Summit Investment, another 250 million facility. So we have and other partners, of course, and even the Green Fund, because we appreciate that climate change is a reality and ESG is critical. It's a critical component in our strategy. So those are the critical things that we've put in place. But as I said, also just looking at how we also start looking at township economy, because if you look at our premier's vision for the SOPA statement, he also spoke about township revitalization, hostel redevelopment. And as the GPF, we also need to align with a vision of the province, because our existence is to contribute to the provincial priorities, which may inadvertently add into the national agenda as well. And awesome. Then also just, and also achieving governance, because you can't attract private sector when your governance is not in place. I mean, consecutively, we've been getting clean audits. We had an unqualified audit opinion even last year. So our financial statements and our financial position is intact. So it really is about building that solid institutional framework, basically.
Well, so, I mean, it seems like you're the right person to drive this process, Lindiwe, without a doubt. Now,
I will tell, hey? Yeah.
So, Lindiwe, you've also authored a book called Above and Beyond.
I did.
Yeah,
yes.
So can you maybe share a bit about what are the key messages and the lessons you hope readers take away from that book?
Neil, that book came from a position of pain, actually. I went through a very tough time working for one of the SOEs, I think in 2019. And it dawned on me that, you know, the story of public servants, committed, ethical, and professionals in the public service, there's a story that is not told. And there are people who go above and beyond their duty to really make the country work. But at the same time, it's a battle of good and evil. And I believe that in any kingdom, there's a kingdom of light and darkness. And sometimes when you enter into space, because I'm a spiritual being, and I always believe that when you enter into a certain space, there's already certain strongholds, you know, and principalities. So you come in there, clean hearts, want to do what is right, and there'll always be arrows and daggers thrown at you. And then also you feel like you are running 1,000 steps forward and then 10,000 steps backwards. And I assume that as a proudly South African yourself, Neil, you want the country that works. And my issue is then why are we self-sabotaging, you know? Why would people not appreciate the socio-economic plight of our nation? So I found myself in a scenario where with my previous boss, I love him so much, Mark Barnes, we worked together, we put in a compelling strategy that was even accepted by our political principals only to find that during transition, the elections, we got a new guard came with their agendas, and everything it just disintegrated in a very bad way. And I needed to vent. I needed to let it all out. But along the journey, it became very clear that we are called for a purpose as individuals. You know, I'm not just the CEO. I'm a child of God first, whose duty is to mirror God's image in everything that I do. I also believe in righteousness and justice and peace. But at the same time, I believe that you've got to stand for what is right, no matter the circumstances. Because sometimes you'll find people saying, oh my God, I can't do this because it's career limiting. And I believe that my existence, I owe it to God, who's the creator of life. So you need not to, you can respect, but not fear mortal beings, and bow to no one but God, you know. So after that journey, I needed to put it out there because unfortunately, there was a time where my story was told by people to advance a certain narrative. And at that time, you may think that, why did you not speak out? Because it was not the right time for me. You know, when you are yielding to a higher purpose, you have to sometimes keep silent and let it all be, and then focus on the justice, on a just fight. And the just fight vindicates you, because that way facts are all laid bare. And it's a very narrow path. But if you know whose you are and whom you serve, you know, and if your hands are clean, you know, I'm not sure your belief system, but one thing that I carry is always keep your hands clean. Never be caught with the hand in the cookie jar, because it's always easy to defend the truth, but defend your truth. Defend the one whom you serve, who is bigger than all of us, and expose, uproot, dethrone the forces of evil that are trying to steal and really take away the goodness, the inheritance that God has bestowed upon this nation. You know, South Africa is such a beautiful country, beautiful weather, beautiful people.
Absolutely.
But I believe that there are certain energies, you know, that are just anti-goodness, you know, anti-righteousness. And unfortunately, those that stand those that stand for goodness, sometimes they are crushed. And it was a narrow road for me. And it's my dedication to service, to also just say those that are emerging in the public service, lose no hope. My friends are in banking, you know, investment banking. They're doing great and mighty things. And they always say, are you crazy? What are you doing there? And I'm saying, who's supposed to do it? You know, Neil, who's supposed to do it? We all want cities that work. We all want water. Right now, we have a problem with water. There's load shedding right now as we speak. So if we all run away, who is supposed to do it? Aren't we a bit selfish as individuals? Who is supposed to do this dirty work? And unfortunately, it's a thankless job, but in the process, one needs to understand. And for me, it's a healing journey, but at the same time, acknowledging and appreciating that when you are walking in righteousness, nothing can stand in your way, and God will always vindicate you. Because if He allows evil to triumph, then it is His name on the block. And when you are doing things and for the greater good, God will protect and God will vindicate and God will expose evil, and good will always triumph over evil. And that's why I'm still standing. And also just my faith, you know, because even during that time, I had to lose my mother also due to COVID, who was a nurse. May her soul rest in peace. So it was a very tough time. But I also had to understand that God is in control. You know, He's the author and the finisher of my life and my journey. And earlier on when I was sharing with you my journey, I was the first person to lead the Tshwane, the first public-private partnership in local government, the Tshwane House, that is standing in the middle of the inner city as a catalyst to drive the inner city regeneration. I built that. I led the PPP project. made sure that it is affordable, that is, it passes all the tests for National Treasury guidelines and views and recommendations. But I never got to sit in that Tshwane house.
Yeah.
And again, my ego tripped in, whereby it was about why was I not even invited for the launch? And God said, but this has got nothing to do with you. You've walked your journey. It's a page in your book. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I served, you exist to be a vessel. I did my job. Someone else must benefit from it. It's not about you. So I've learned to realize that my existence is less about me, but I need to do my best to be a light and the salt of the earth. And that's it. So really, it's navigating around my upbringing, where I come from, why I am what I am, my belief system, my values, what I stand for, and my wish for the nation. And then I share my faith. That's really is the essence of my book. And wonderful. Encouraging young professionals who are also navigating. Sometimes they are caught, when the enemy dangles the delicacies, people are tempted, Stay the course, focus on the bigger picture, and serve God with dignity and distinction and level of professionalism and integrity. And you are sorted.
Very powerful message. And, just in closing, what is your message and advice to people now who want to move forward with GPF? How would they approach you? What do you advise? Because, it sounds like, you're running you're fulfilling a very specific role out there. So what do you suggest? How do people want to get involved now with GPF now? Because I'm inspired by your message. I'm sure you've inspired a lot of other people out there. What is the way forward?
The way forward is GPF is open for business. We just need to make sure that people who approach us also needs to be passionate and committed to the cause. Mm-hmm. Because I think last year you probably saw an article, we were all over in the news around the work that we did 10 years ago. Obviously, being a successor in title, I needed to also tackle that issue. And Neil, you'll agree with me that transformation is costly, and there will be risk and there will be good and bad that comes with it. Mm-hmm. And where we are sitting, I believe we are on the right course in terms of our mandate and in terms of creating inclusive society. And in terms of us being a catalyst for transformation, we just needed to make sure that our internal control are watertight, to be able to know that when we are doing assessment and when we are doing your due diligence, we do it without fear or favor or prejudice, or we do it to the best of our abilities. So I will encourage people to say, really do a bit of research, and we do have a team from the project application, because we do have now a loan application system that is online. People can access it in their cell phones, in their laptops. It's already available online. But obviously, they could actually also do walk-ins with our team, where they will take them through a dummy process, really, of how it works. The guidelines are also on our website that are directing people how they could actually access opportunities within the GPF. As you know, Neil, our mandate, we are responsible for social housing. We are also responsible for rental housing as well as the student accommodation. So each and every product comes with certain guidelines. But at the same time, as I've said in my opening remarks, that we all are mindful of the macroeconomic conditions. And if you are committed to the cause, and one of the things, we are a concessionary lender. GPF, we always assume the role of a junior funder, and we always bring our senior funders to co-fund projects. And if things go haywire, we always take the fall. And appreciating, Neil, that we do not get any funding from government, by the way. Mm-hmm. Our income is based on the work that we do. We are one agency that does not drain the fiscus. And I'm proud of that. We've managed that over the past 20 years of our existence. So when people come to us and committing to a collaborative journey, they should come with good intentions to make sure that we handhold one another to really achieve the greater good in order to achieve sound returns on both sides. And we open for business, as I said. We have an Aspire account, which is a core facility between ourselves and PIC and Future Growth, as I've indicated. DBSA in advance. We've already signed with SA Home Loan. We've signed with Summit Investment. But we also need to guarantee them sound investment. You know what I mean? Sound returns in their investment, because this is not a charity, but it's a business proposition. So all of us needs to come to the party. We are here. We have our own professional teams as well as the GPF. They could actually advise them when we are taking them through their feasibility and their business plans. We could actually guide them in terms of where the gaps are in their proposition, because it must make business sense. It must be a bankable business plan that is presented to us. We also have our QS, our quantity surveyors that will actually look at your costing structure to support the work that you do. You know what I mean? So as the GPF, we see ourselves, we are a development funder. We appreciate our developmental mandate. And we also appreciate that the people that interact with us, most of them are not exposed to the entire ecosystem of the property development. So we have to go above and beyond, you know, in ensuring that they know what they're getting themselves into, what the expectations are. We laid up front, you know, for them to say, is this, can they take this? Can they bite this, you know? And then we handhold them even during the construction process. We also handhold them, and then we also give certain concessions, you know, and tax holidays to a certain, based on a certain property, a product that we have. For instance, the EPF, these are historically disadvantaged individuals who have never played a role in a construction sector, but we do not compromise on the professional team that is supposed to execute the work, because ultimately it's our head on the block. It's our reputation online as well. So we are open for business. We are here to serve. We are here to assist, and we've got capable and committed team that is ready to take this project on board, to run with them. And it will be nice to invite you inside. We will be launching, unveiling some of the projects that we've been funding. Some in Pretoria, in Tshwane, some in the city of Joburg. My marketing team is here, Neil. It will be nice for you to see. Absolutely. Because it's nicer to taste and feel, you know.
Absolutely. Invitation accepted.
Saying. Yeah, absolutely.
And I would like to invite you. I would like to invite you to mid-year in July. We've got the Residential and Investment Conference up in the Sandton Convention Center. I think lovely. That you should absolutely be involved. It was a big government involvement with SOLGA and all the various other departments, PPRA, etc. But there's a number of investors there, both private and obviously both state. And we're trying to get everybody to really engage and talk with each other, because that's what we should be doing, and building property wealth at the end of the day, and putting it in the hands of the people that need it most. But Lindiwe, this discussion has been truly inspirational, and really our heartfelt gratitude to you, the CEO Partnership, CEO Gauteng Partnership Fund, you for gracing your presence with us today. And I think really exciting news for everybody else awaits our audience as Lindiwe takes the spotlight as our master investor in the upcoming edition of Real Estate Investor magazine. So just stay tuned for an in-depth exploration of Lindiwe's expertise and experiences in that magazine. And Lindiwe, thank you very much once again for joining us.
It's a pleasure.
Your wisdom and insights have been truly invaluable. And we eagerly anticipate and we celebrate your continued success in all your endeavors. And until next time, stay inspired, and may you continue to make a positive impact in the world of real estate. So thank you very much. It's been a wonderful discussion.
It's a pleasure. Have a good day. Thank you so much, Neil. Have a good day.
Pleasure.